Well, hello again. In this module, I want to talk to you about engineering design. Engineering design is one of those topics that crosses all the engineering disciplines. It's not just about mechanical engineering or civil engineering. Every engineer in every engineering discipline looks at engineering design. So in this module, I want to introduce you to engineering design, talk to you why it's important, and then in a second module, I'll give you a process, a model for looking at engineering design that I hope you will learn, and more importantly, I hope that you'll be able to use it in some of your design projects that you do as part of this class. So let's just look at it. What is engineering design? Your textbook, Engineering Your Future, describes it this way: as a process of designing a component, a system, or some other process to meet a desired need. And that's a pretty good definition. Well, I'd like to add to it a little bit, but let's just start with that. Why is it important? Well, here's a quote that was taken from a Newsweek article some years ago that 70% of a product's cost is determined by its design. What that means is if you look at how something is set out to function, to look, that most of the cost is already constrained by that functionality and by the factors that go into that design, such that after you go down the line of picking the design and implementing it, you have little influence on how much that's going to cost. So if you're going to have a product or some kind of system that is going to be a cost-effective one, setting the right design at the beginning is very important. A second way of looking at it is that when people buy a product, they want features, but they want good design out of it. They want the thing that it's meant to do to be done well, and that it feels right, and it looks appealing to them at all. So design plays right into that. And if you don't start out with a good design, you can't add that in later. So the cost factor, the usability factor, the appeal factor all have to do with how something's designed. And it's important to build that in up front, because if you don't, the thing will cost so much more at the end. So that's some of the reasons why it's important. I'm going to redefine engineering design and the engineering design process this way. It's a process that provides for a rigorous and appropriate evaluation of the characteristics and alternatives and also the constraints of a system or a component in order to best meet a need or an opportunity. In some cases, you need to do something to fix something. It's a need. You're working for a company like General Motors, and they say, our brakes aren't working well on this model car. We have to come up with a new way of doing those brakes. So you have that need. Other times, however, it's an opportunity where something that hasn't been used can be introduced and make life better for somebody or make something easier. So engineering design process is a process that provides for a rigorous and appropriate evaluation of the characteristics of a product, the constraints that are put upon that product, and the alternatives so that you come up with the best design to meet a need or an opportunity. I just want to make a point to you also. There is a separate, distinct discipline called industrial design that also has a lot to do with how a product looks. Engineering design process is not the same thing as industrial design. They're related, and engineers and industrial designers work together on products, but they are different. The industrial design's function is to optimize the function, value, and appearance of a product for the benefit of both the person who makes a product and the person who uses the product. The look and feel of a razor phone, for instance, that final appearance and how it fits in the palm of your hand, has a lot to do with industrial design. How that value to both the customer and the vendor fit together. Whereas the engineering design really has to do with the functionality. How does it do the jobs it's supposed to do cost effectively, safely? So the person who works on the final look and colors and textures of a product will likely be an industrial designer, whereas what we're talking about is the features and the materials and the functionality of a product as being the engineering design process. All right, that's just a quick introduction to engineering design process, and on the next little module, we'll introduce you to a model for applying engineering design to the projects you do. I'll see you next time.